Hey yo, what's good, everyone? So we got a video by Nerderotic. So the title is "Echo is Awful. Marvel Goes Off the Reservation." So it's a series that Marvel made. That's called Echo. I don't really follow Marvel series like that, uh, but they're really doing bad. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, but this is what they keep saying that they like doing this. They like making men feminine. They're making they're trying to make you know uh, trans and gays more normal now. So I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do, and their lines and the script writing is just like it's just all cheesy. It's just all messed up. But we're gonna see where they mess up at. Let's get into it.
Well, I'm an actor, so, I have to service the story that's put in front of me. I have to do my best to make the story written work.
Really, I have no acting experience.
Being somebody who walks around the world as a hearing person.
Because I remember growing up and watching things on the screen, it was always a white guy who played this superhero, so we need more people of color to be in the MCU.
I think so many people feel like this project might be checking boxes in some way.
Deaf consultants, deaf actors, deaf writers, deaf consultants, deaf writers in the writer's room, deaf and indigenous, deaf consultants, actors playing deaf and indigenous roles, deaf experience, deaf indigenous amputee girl, deaf community, deaf representation, deaf representation,
More inclusive.
representation matters, indigenous,
Hearing privilege.
tribal representation, indigenous.
I guess that's why this is called Echo, because he's deaf.
Nerderotic.com.
You would think after releasing the biggest flop in the MCU's herstory, The Marvels, Disney Marvel would lay low for a little while, go radio silent. But no, it seems that the criticism coming from all of humanity concerning the MCU has fallen on deaf ears. So join me, you over 950,000 awakening wonders and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet.
Hey,
let's review another piece of Disney Marvel content. That's right, despite having some reservations, Marvel went ahead with their big gamble. Not sure if you heard, but they released Echo, the ill-fated series that Kevin Feige himself said after its initial shoot was unreleasable, leading to multiple reshoots and a massive delay. And still, there were rumors that Disney Marvel was considering not releasing it at all. But after Kevin Feige realized he war-painted himself into an identity politics corner, he smoked the peace pipe, trimmed it from 8 episodes to 5 episodes, and dropped it all at once in the beginning of January on 2 streaming services. And it totally wasn't an attempt to boost what will be abysmal streaming numbers. And because it wouldn't be a Disney Marvel product without having to do some homework, Echo is a spin-off from an MCU bait-and-switch series, Hawkeye, that nobody watched, that will turn into an MCU solo series that no one will watch. Okay, except for YouTubers. Based on a Z-list villain from the Daredevil comics that the showrunners felt so passionate about, they completely changed the character. When it comes to Marvel's Echo, director Sidney Freeland made a major decision. Maya Lopez would have different powers than she has in the comics. In an interview with Variety, Freeland didn't want to spoil the changes she made, but made it clear how she felt about the original Echo's abilities. Her power in the comic books is that she can, copy anything, any movement, any whatever. It's kind of lame. Sydney told the publication, I will say that's not.
I mean, it's how you use it. It's not just the powers.
Maybe she misspoke. Maybe she meant make her powers lame, which she did. But we all know why they went ahead with the character Echo. She checks some boxes, but not enough apparently. They needed to add a couple. In the comics, she is a deaf indigenous female, and in the D Plus series, she's a deaf indigenous body positivity female amputee. While there's no official word on whether she's gay or not, it's assumed. And still, the architect of the MCU,
beginning of the video, I said that
unreleasable. And after I've seen the fixed product, he should have stuck with that decision. But again, he can't because he wouldn't get headlines like this. Marvel's Echo, a cultural triumph in native storytelling. Stars of Echo discuss Marvel's indigenous superhero spin-off. Chaska Spencer commends Echo for beautifully handled Native American representation. Echo star Alakwa Cox on Marvel bringing deaf and indigenous representation to the forefront and why acting in ASL was challenging. And it was challenging to watch. Marvel's Echo is an imperfect but wonderfully important show. And why is it important? Well, the answer is obvious and previously stated.
Representation. 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 Representation.
If you don't believe me, let's go to Marvel, who's taking a page out of the Rings of Power playbook, and hear from some super fans who totally aren't influencers.
I love the fact that the main character was deaf and then I got introduced to a whole new world. It was American Sign Language, it was Indigenous history, so it wasn't just an action show.
As a deaf person, I feel very proud to see that on screen.
Nice leading lady vibes. She's very cool. It's the new MCU.
Someone signing in the middle of a fight was incredible.
So cool. If you're not a Marvel fan, this is a great way to be introduced to the Marvel Universe.
Yes, again, it checks a lot of boxes. Unfortunately, it missed one. Good storytelling. All right, I put this off long enough. Let's talk about Echo, the show about a
Deaf Indigenous amputee.
body positivity female superhero. Again, Echo was supposed to be an 8-episode series that was cut down to a 5-episode series, but technically it's a 4.5-episode series because the first 30 minutes of the first episode are a slightly more fleshed out, previously on from a series you didn't watch, Hawkeye. The plot goes something like this. 5 months after the events of the Kate Bishop show, where Echo defeats Hawkeye and kills the Kingpin,
she has a prosthetic leg.
deaf Indigenous body positivity female amputee Maya Lopez is being pursued by the Wilson Fisk organization, leading her to return to her hometown in Oklahoma, where she must completely ignore the misdeeds of her past, including murdering a lot of people on the orders of the Kingpin, reconnect with her Native American roots, endanger her family and community, and embrace her inner girl boss to destroy more male Marvel legacy characters. In the initial trailer that everyone was impressed with, Disney Marvel wanted everyone to believe that this would be in the same vein as Daredevil, especially when they touted that mature content warning.
This is a lie.
Aside from a couple of brief scenes, Echo would have been fine on the CW. The only potential violence is to the viewer from being bored to death. The first 4 episodes are a slog and not even worth talking about. American Sign Language, or ASL, would work in an indie film or some Oscar bait movie, but not in a superhero show. You're constantly waiting for the character's ASLR to catch up to what you can read on the screen. It was more like ASLMR. And after that nearly 30-minute previously on, the vast majority of this series is filled with Alakwa Cox's stunt woman riding a motorcycle, excessively long montage scenes set to a pop song with characters we don't care about looking sad, repetitive sweeping shots of the same mural, and lots and lots and lots of Indigenous representation, only occasionally interrupted by pure cringe.
Kingpin had his run. It's time for Queen. He's handing me Queenpin.
Why? That's right, Maya Lopez, or Echo, the hit deaf Indigenous female body positive woman who used to work for the Kingpin and now thinks he's dead, either wants to take down or take over his organization. Your guess is as good as mine. And as far as those cameos are concerned that director Sidney Freeland teased, well, there's a repurposed Hawkeye cameo from the Kate Bishop show, and yes, Daredevil. In this corner, weighing in at 195 pounds, back in his proper red costume, is Daredevil. Finally facing off against his C-list comic book nemesis, weighing in at a flabby 150 pounds, Echo. In a
Cripple fight! Cripple fight! Attention shoppers, outside today we have Cripple fight.
Oh my god. A deaf woman fighting a blind man.
After the clearly out of shape Echo stands in with Daredevil for an inexplicable couple of minutes in the
Cripple fight!
He runs away, never to be seen again for the rest of the show. But enough of that. Despite Echo being billed as a return to the gritty, grounded Marvel of old, which Kevin Feige had nothing to do with at Netflix, it ends up not even being a drama. It's just a series of events about Indigenous family. Family. Who are all from the Chatwa tribe. There's Scully, Maya's step-grandfather, played by Graham Greene, who quite frankly is the only good thing in this aside from Charlie Cox's Daredevil, but he only exists to occasionally share some wisdom with the insufferable Echo. There's Henry Lopez, Maya's uncle, who also works for the Kingpin and owns a roller rink, who doesn't want to help her until he does after being betrayed by his shoe cleaner. The only person Maya appears to like, but don't quote me on that because I'm not really sure, is Cousin Bonnie, who only exists to be a hostage, and Cousin Bonnie. Maya's other cousin is Cookies or Biscuits or whatever the hell his name is.
And he's
who
also
plays
deaf?
the obligatory Disney Marvel effeminate male assistant to our insufferable MCU protagonist. Maya's grandmother Chula is the only other character who seems semi-fleshed out. She's haunted by the death of her daughter, she has some mysterious powers, and she makes Maya's costume. Sorry to go all Chris Stuckman there and basically just say their names and give very little context, but those were the cards I was dealt. This brings us to Maya Lopez, or Echo. In the comic books, Echo is from the Cheyenne tribe, but the showrunners felt so passionate about giving us an authentic indigenous experience, they changed it to the Choctaw tribe and cast an actress from the Menominee tribe. We learned that the deaf indigenous body positivity female amputee
He just keeps
Echo
saying
lost
that.
her leg in a car accident as a child, when a shard of glass broke off from the windshield. And I guess the child actress playing the very young Maya Lopez decided to channel the older Maya Lopez by showing absolutely no emotion when this happens. I doubt the writers of this show know that windshields or windows don't break like that. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's highly improbable. What would have made more sense is just her leg being crushed in the car accident. Hell, a freak accident at a casino would make more sense than this. But the dumb doesn't end there. Remember when I said series director Sidney Freeland said Echo's powers in the comics were lame? Quick reminder, Echo in the comics has photographic reflexes, basically the Taskmaster's powers. Any move she sees once, she can perfectly duplicate. Nothing original, but a hell of a lot better than what the hacks from this show came up with, echoing back to draw powers from past ancestors, and not just any ancestors, female ancestors, and yes, this is where the MCU kicks in. Throughout this 5-episode series that feels like 18 episodes, we get flashbacks to previous ancestors, including the first Choctaw girl boss who led her people out of a spa after a mud bath with a woodpecker. Followed by the second Choctaw girl boss from 1200 AD who was a female stickball player. Who with her tribe had to take on another tribe, which included the very first indigenous anabolic steroid user. Of course she won the game because this is the MCU, never mind the fact that there were no female stickball players. So much for authentic. The third Choctaw girl boss was the daughter of a light horseman, the rangers of the tribe who wanted to be a light horseman but couldn't because she's a girl. But she does it anyway because this is the MCU and saves all the men from the evil
I don't know why
white
they
men
do it
with
to
a
themselves.
few easy shots and that signature Disney Marvel female protagonist smirk. The fourth Choctaw girl boss is Chula, Maya's grandmother, who had a fatherless pregnancy and gave birth to the fifth girl boss, Maya's mom, who was also deaf, and indigenous Jesus, who possessed the powers of healing. And you guessed it, in the Choctaw tribe, only women can draw on the power of other women in a time of need, but apparently they sat it out when the Choctaw tribe was moved from Mississippi and Alabama to Oklahoma. And I guess they have no problem helping out the unrepentant sociopathic murderer Maya Lopez. At no point in this show does Maya Lopez try to atone for her past, which is a bit of a moral quandary for anyone who lives outside of modern Hollywood. It's tough to follow around a protagonist who can't talk, can't emote, can't act, and who is completely unlikable. To be fair, any morality is a quandary for modern Hollywood because they lost the ability to pretend to decipher right from wrong a long time ago. Anyway, this brings us to the one sole character anyone would even consider watching this show for. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. Arguably, Disney Marvel's greatest villain was completely destroyed in the Kate Bishop show, and he returns to Echo to get destroyed some more. Somehow, Kingpin being shot nearly at point blank in the eye, does he return to reestablish his empire and exact bloody vengeance, or does he come back to win the heart of the daughter who's not his daughter, who just so happened to try to kill him, by begging her forgiveness, offering Echo his empire, and making her the Queen Pin? If you guess the latter, you're smart and you know your MCU. But it doesn't end there. At one point in the series, Kingpin asks Echo to kill him with the hammer he killed his father with, and she says no. After Maya spurns Kingpin's offer of seppuku, This is where Echo goes from just a boring show to full-on MCU cringe.
I'm shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
In the final battle, Kingpin brings his army to attack a local powwow to get Maya back.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. And if you didn't think things could get any worse with Gaia at the end of Secret Invasion, I raise you one indigenous girl boss Voltron. No. And the MCU achieves maximum girl boss today, and Maya can even pass on her powers. Even Grandma gets a shot in. And the unrepentant murderer defeats the Kingpin again by taking away his childhood trauma and making him cry. And this completes another chapter of Disney Marvel's hero's journey, where the hero was great all along. All Maya had to do was go back home and talk to her grandma to reconnect with her powers. And that's pretty much it. What did we learn? Disney Marvel still sucks, and indigenous people can now see their authentic selves in an unrepentant murderer. Despite all that, I still have some questions. Why in the hell would this security guard feel up Maya? No offense. Why did Daredevil flee a crime scene with somebody who was still awake who just committed a murder without at least questioning Maya? To be fair, it's not like she was going to talk. How did the guy who stood toe-to-toe with Kingpin, the Punisher, Bullseye, and 100 ninjas have a hard time with a flabby 150-pound girl? Where were the Choctaw ancestors during that whole Manifest
Only Marvel
Destiny
knows.
thing? How did a deaf body positivity amputee jump around a train before she connected with her powers? And why in the hell would you do Kingpin dirty like that by having him defeated again? Did Disney learn nothing from Kylo Ren and Kang? No. And I guess the biggest question of all is, why in God's name would you release this, especially after the Marvels completely flopped? All jokes aside, what Disney is doing overall isn't doing anyone any good. I don't blame Alaqua Cox or any of the actors. Some of the blame definitely goes to the writers, but most of it goes to Kevin Feige. Disney Marvel doesn't know up from down, good from bad, or right from wrong. Want an example? Yesterday, they decided to release a deleted scene from the Marvels where Valkyrie thinks the 16-year-old Miss Marvel is married to Captain Marvel and then makes a little joke at the end.
Hello?
What?
Oh, Captain, my Captain. Oh, you're not my Captain.
Captain Marvel Resident Assistant, Miss Marvel speaking.
Wait, Mrs. Marvel. She got married again. And then right again.
No! I'm Ms. Marvel. We're not married, that would be... I'm single.
Okay.
5 seconds to the jump point.
Oh, you might want to triple. I mean, shut in. Oh, you might want to triple. Oh, you might want to triple.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Kind of tough to argue that bad reputation that Disney has earned. They're not just leaning into the South Park meme, they're bathing in it. And soon the investors will be walking the Trail of Tears. And once again, thanks to our latest installment in the MCU, it's clear to absolutely everyone, including Disney, that Marvel has gone off the reservation.
It's a different feel compared to what the other MCU stuff that we've seen.
Nerderotic.com.
If you like what you heard, please like.
Disney, man, oh man, oh man. I don't know what are they doing. Like when you think about you got people, fans, watching these series or movies, and they're telling you that they're not good, and you're a billion-dollar company, and you're not, looking back at it. You're not just like you're just going to ignore it and then just keep doing more harm to yourselves. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going along with society, man. It's not just Disney; it's everything. If you notice, it's in series, it's in movies, it's in games too. Where the main character starts acting soft. They're not as vicious as they were before or intense. There's a change now. Like, everything is just different now. That's why I just don't watch movies like I used to. Um, I don't know when they're going to get it. I don't actually. They do get it. They probably do get it, but they just don't want to fix it. That's what it is. Uh, it's really a disaster for them. If they want to keep their fans, they're going to have to change. But I don't think they are. Like, it's been like several. It's been several months, so that this thing has been going on, and they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. They're calling the loop right now where they're doing they're just doing bad things. So I don't know what's going to happen with them, but it's going downhill. Yeah, they got to change. So it is what it is. But like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time, and y'all have a good night.